Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the fear of abandonment and how to deal with it. But before I jump into the topic, if you're new to High Value, welcome. My name is Julia and here on High Value I'm talking about all things consciousness, inner healing, self-love and manifestation. If you're looking for personalized support, you can always check out the box below for more information on that. Now let's jump into the topic. I have been dealing with that, that's why I'm sharing it, and that's why I'm also so touched that you're here and watching this video. And I can tell you that it's quite common for people to experience, but not all people are aware of this fear of abandonment because it's a difficult emotion to become aware of. So if you're here and if you're really doing the work and allowing this emotion to surface, then you have already done a great job. For me, it took me quite a while to realize that I was really feeling this fear of abandonment. Like in my early relationships when I was a teenager and when I was having my first experiences with guys in relationships, I wasn't fully aware of that. I was experiencing it, but I was kind of projecting it outwardly. I was thinking like, yeah, I'm afraid that they're gonna leave me, that they're gonna do something to me. But I wasn't aware that I was carrying that fear within myself and that it was operating in the background and sabotaging my own sense of worthiness. So if you're here, then you're already very, very courageous, because facing that emotion at the beginning especially is very, very difficult because it stems from a story that we are telling ourselves inside of us that is not true, but that we still buy into to some degree. So I'm so happy that you're here. This is the very, very first and most important step to healing this fear. Basically, what the fear of abandonment is the fear that you're gonna be left, that you're gonna be abandoned by a loved person. And for the most part, I think we are believing that fear because we think that there's something that is true to that story, and that's coming from not feeling fully worthy of love because of something that happened. For the most part, I think it's our childhood, because that's when you were imprinted, your relationship dynamics were imprinted into your subconscious mind. It doesn't mean that you have to look for a very obviously traumatic experience in your childhood. Well, yeah, maybe there was a very obviously traumatic experience that you had in childhood. And I think many people did have that experience. And they can say like, I know it's coming from that experience. But it can also be that your parents were just not as present as you would have needed them to be. It can be there was no intimacy and they were there, but they were not present. And that's enough to create a feeling of disconnection within you that leaves you feeling abandoned, even if your parent was there physically, but if they were not able to connect to you emotionally on a consistent basis, that just can leave you feel abandoned. And that makes a lot of sense. And this fear can come up in your adult relationship and sabotage them. Well, now, it can also be that there was a traumatic experience in your childhood and that actually your parents, for example, divorced, or a parent left, or both parents left, or a parent died. And both of these experiences, like whether it is obviously traumatic or just like not that obvious, both can lead to the same unpleasant or traumatizing fear of abandonment. And I say it with that intensity because the fear of abandonment, and that's at least how it showed up for me, can feel devastating. It can leave you feel completely lonely, alone, completely abandoned to the extent where you feel unworthiness, and it can just be so devastating that you are not even able to fully feel it. And that's why it gets pushed into our subconscious mind. This feeling of separation can be so devastating that we are not allowing ourselves to fully feel it. And now I'm gonna jump into the solution of this. That's exactly, feeling it is exactly what opens the door to healing. And when you're just able to start to question that fear or that story in your head, that you're in your mind, that you're telling yourself about who you are and what's going to happen in your relationships, and what that means for you, if you can start to question it, then you're going to be able to allow the emotion to come up, to feel how bad it feels to be afraid, to be abandoned. And then you can allow, instead of thinking about it in your mind, you can allow yourself to release the emotion and this happens when you're not fully buying into the story, but instead you're allowing the emotion to be there and you're not abandoning yourself. If you want to heal your fear of abandonment, then it's crucial for you to not abandon yourself when the fear of abandonment comes up. And this means facing the pain, facing the loneliness, facing the fear, facing also the story in your mind that you're telling yourself. Because basically it's a shitty story. And you have every right to think that way because probably some shitty things happen to you. But the thing is, you need to understand and you need to start to feel that you are worthier than what has happened to you in your past. What happened to you in your past, and that this can be in your past childhood relationships or in your past adult relationships, it doesn't matter, but you are worthier than that. You are worthy of somebody committing to you, you're worthy of somebody being there for you, showing up, but it has to start with you showing up for yourself. Not because that's a condition for somebody else to show up for you as well, but that is going to give you the ultimate relief. The fact that I know that I'm going to be there for myself no matter what anybody else does or thinks or feels about me, that is giving me the ultimate freedom to be myself. And having this relief of being able to face your story, face your fear, then helps you to relax into the present moment, helps you relax into, well, that's where I am right now. And then you're going to be able to shift it and start healing it in time by starting to, first off, be there for yourself, be there for your inner child that feels left and abandoned, and by simply being present with yourself. Because for the most part, what we're doing is we're pushing that emotion away, because who likes feeling abandoned? I don't think anybody likes that. We don't like that. We're just used to it and we're pushing it away. And by pushing it away, we are pushing it into our subconscious mind, where it starts to create our reality unconsciously. We're unconsciously creating from our subconscious beliefs. But when you start accepting that fear and the story in your head as just being some beliefs and some memories from the past, then you have the power to face them and to start changing them by being aware of whatever is going on within your subconscious mind and by showing up for your inner child. So that's the first step, to just be aware of it and to be there for yourself when your fear of abandonment is coming up. And once you learn to be present with yourself and to really feel what you're feeling and to really be present with yourself, then you can start to create a new story, create a new expectation and a new standard in your own life to say, well, you know what, I am worthy of a relationship where I am not abandoned, where I am not left. I'm worthy of a relationship where people are committed to me, where people are present with me, where people connect with me emotionally, where people are present with me emotionally, no matter what I'm going through. I deserve an intimately connected relationship. Whatever exactly it is that you want, yeah? Because based on what you have experienced, you might have a different desire for what you want to create in your relationship. Whether this is physical presence or emotional presence or spiritual or mental or all together, probably you want all of that. But based on whatever it is that you want, you can start to create a narrative in your mind and an experience within your body where you are perceiving that to be normal, and you can practice that with yourself. And it's very, very, well, I would say that after a certain time, it becomes easy to practice that. You're going to have a trigger coming up, you're going to feel the fear of abandonment, and you're going to be very, very quick to say, you know what, I'm here with you. You're not abandoned, I'm here. You're only feeling abandoned because you're not showing up for yourself. Once you show up for yourself, you can be present with you. You can meet that fear of abandonment and say, it's just an emotion. It's just an emotion. I don't have to go and create a whole story of how I'm going to be left by everybody else in the future. No, you're just going to be present. I'm here with me. And if I can be present with myself, I know somebody else can too. People can be present with you if you let them. And if you allow yourself to attract the people who are willing to show up. And many people are. It's just when we are completely triggered that we actually start to push people away and not allow them to be present with whatever is going on within us. But in time, you're gonna learn how to be present with someone else when they're going through something, and they're gonna learn to be present with you when you're going through something. And you can start to create a new story in your mind where you're like, I'm present with my emotions and I know other people can be too. And I choose to believe in that vision of mine and choose to believe in that relationship that I want to create, or that friendship that I want to create, or those relationships that I want to create, whatever it is for you. And then you start to feel into that new reality that you want to create, and you start feeling how worthy you are of that and how loved you already are. And it starts within yourself. You can create relationships without doing inner work, but it's not going to be as conscious and not going to be as rewarding and as mindful. So do your inner work first, and you're going to create beautiful relationships. You're going to be able to connect emotionally, connect on a very deep level. And it starts with doing your own inner work and showing up for yourself. That's the ultimate healing, showing up for yourself, being present with that fear. Ultimately, it's not all that bad when you release the resistance towards that fear of abandonment. Mostly, I think it's the fear and the horrific story about how we're never gonna connect to anyone else in the future. But the fear itself, like when you feel into it, when you stop judging it for a bit, then actually it's not all that bad. It's like actually just something that your body is going through and that your inner child is going through. And you can really literally feel it in your body. It's not all that bad. It's just also that buy-in into the negative story that makes it so horrible. So allow yourself to connect with your body. Your body is your guide. Your intuition is your guide in that process. And in time, when you're ready, you can start to create a new story. You can start to script your new reality into being. All right, I'm gonna stop right here. Let me know in the comments if that was helpful. Again, thank you so much for being here. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.